to Huang-Po 6. Question. Allowing that an enlightened man who achieves the cessation of conceptual thoughts is Buddha, would not an ignorant man, on ceasing to think conceptually, lose himself in oblivion? Answer. There are no enlightened men or ignorant men, and there is no oblivion. Yet, though basically everything is without objective existence, you must not come to think in terms of anything non-existent. And though things are not non-existent, you must not form a concept of anything existing. For existence and non-existence are both empirical concepts no better than illusions. Therefore it is written, whatever the senses apprehend resembles an illusion, including everything, ranging from mental concepts to living beings. Our founder preached this to his disciples, but total abstraction, Our founder preached to his disciples not but total abstraction, leading to elimination of sense perception. In this total abstraction does the way of the Buddhas flourish, while from discrimination between this and that a host of demons blaze forth. Question. If mind and the Buddha are intrinsically one, should we continue to practice the 6 paramitas and the other orthodox means of gaining enlightenment? Answer. Enlightenment springs from mind, regardless of your practice of the 6 paramitas and the rest. All such practices are merely expedients for handling concrete matters when dealing with problems of daily life. Even enlightenment, the absolute, reality, sudden attainment, the Dharmakaya, and all the others down to the 10 stages of progress, the 4 rewards of virtuous and wise living, and the state of holiness and wisdom are, every one of them, mere concepts for helping us through samsara. They have nothing to do with the real Buddha mind. Since mind is the Buddha, the ideal way of attainment is to cultivate that Buddha mind. Only avoid conceptual thoughts, which lead to becoming and cessation, to the afflictions of the sentient world and all the rest. Then you will have no need of methods of enlightenment and such like. Therefore it is written, all the Buddha's teachings just had this one single object, to carry us beyond the stage of thought. Now, if I accomplish cessation of my thinking, what use to me is the Dharma Buddha taught? From Gautama Buddha down through the whole line of patriarchs to Bodhidharma, none preached aught besides the one mind, otherwise known as the sole vehicle of liberation. Hence, though you search throughout the whole universe, you will never find another vehicle. Nowhere has this teaching leaves or branches. Its one quality is eternal truth. Hence, it is a teaching hard to accept. When Bodhidharma came to China and reached the kingdom of Lang and Wei, the only Venerable Master Ko gained a silent insight into our minds, or only the Venerable Master Ko gained a silent insight into our own mind. As soon as it was explained to him, he understood mind is the Buddha, and that individual mind and body are nothing. This teaching is called the Great Way. The very nature of the Great Way is voidness of opposition. Bodhidharma firmly believed in being one with the real substance of the universe in this life. Mind and that substance do not differ one jolt. That substance is mind. They cannot possibly be separated. It was for this revelation that he earned the title of patriarch of our sect, and therefore it is written, the moment of realizing the unity of mind and the substance which constitutes reality may truly be said to baffle description. Question. Does the Buddha really liberate sentient beings? Answer. There are in reality no sentient beings to be delivered by the Tathagata. If even self has no objective existence, how much less has other than self? Thus, neither Buddha nor sentient beings exist objectively. Number 6, question. Yet, it is recorded that whoever possesses the 32 characteristic signs of a Buddha is able to deliver sentient beings. How can you deny it? Answer. Anything possessing any signs is illusionary. It is by perceiving that all signs are no signs that you perceive the Tathagata, Buddha, and sentient beings are both your own false conceptions. It is because you do not know real mind that you delude yourself with such objective concepts. If you will conceive of a Buddha, you will be obstructed by that Buddha. And when you conceive of sentient beings, you will be obstructed by those beings. All such dualistic concepts as ignorant and enlightened, pure and impure, are obstructions. It is because your minds are hindered by them that the wheel of the law must be turned. Just as apes spend their times throwing things away and picking them up again unceasingly, so it is with you and your learning. All you need is to give up your learning, your ignorant and enlightened, pure and impure, great and little, your attachment and activity. Such things are mere conveniences, mere ornaments within one mind. I hear you have studied the sutras of the 12 divisions of the 3 vehicles. They are all mere imperial concepts. You really must give them up. So, just discard all you have acquired as being no better than the bedspread for you when you were sick. Only when you have abandoned all perceptions, there being nothing objective to perceive, only when phenomena obstruct you no longer, only when you have rid yourself of the whole gamut of dualistic concepts of the ignorant and the enlightened, got a far way to go, enlightened category, you will at last earn the title of Transcendental Buddha. Therefore it is written, your prostrations are in vain. Put no faith in such ceremonies. Hide from such false beliefs. Since mind knows no divisions into separate entities, phenomenon must be equally indifferentiated. Since mind is above all activities, so must it be with phenomenon. Every phenomenon that exists is a creation of thought. Therefore, I need but empty my mind to discover that all of them are void. It is the same with all sense objects. To whichever of the myriads of categories they belong, the entire void stretching out in all directions is of one substance with mind. And, since mind is fundamentally undifferentiated, so must it be with everything else. Different entities appear to you only because your perceptions differ. just as the colors of the precious delicacies eaten by the devas are said to differ in accordance with the individual merits of the devas eating them. Anatora Samyak Sambodhi is a name for the realization that the Buddhas of the whole universe do not in fact possess the smallest perceptible attribute. There just exists the one mind. Truly, there is no multiplicity of forms, no celestial brilliance, and no glorious victory over samsara, or submission to the victor, since no glorious victory has ever won. There can be no such formal entity as a Buddha, and since no submission ever took place, there can be no such formal entities as sentient beings. Question. Even though the mind be formless, how can you deny the existence of the 32 characteristic signs of a Buddha, or the 80 excellencies whereby people have been ferried over? Answer. The 32 signs are signs, and whatever has form is illusionary. The 80 excellencies belong to the sphere of matter. But whoever perceives a self in matter is traveling the wrong path. He cannot comprehend the Tathagata thus. Question. Does the essential substance of the Buddha differ at all from that of sentient beings, or are they identical? Answer. Essential substance partakes neither of the identity nor difference. If you accept the orthodox teachings of the 3 vehicles of Buddhism, discriminating between the Buddha nature and the nature of sentient beings, you will create for yourself 3 vehicle karma, and identities and differences will result. But if you accept the Buddha vehicle, which is the doctrine transmitted by Bodhidharma, you will not speak of such things. You will merely point to the one mind which is without identity or difference, without cause or effect. Therefore it is written, there is only one way, the one way, of the one vehicle. There is neither a second nor a third, except for those ways employed by the Buddha as purely relative expedients, or upaya, for the liberation of beings lost in delusion. Question. Why was the Bodhisattva of infinite extent unable to view the sacred sign on the crown of the Buddha's head? Answer. There was really nothing for him to see. Why? The Bodhisattva of infinite extent was the Tathagata. It follows that the need to look did not arise. The parable is intended to prevent your conceiving of the Buddha and of sentient beings as entities, and thereby falling into the error of spatial separateness. It is a warning against conceiving of entities as existing or not existing, and thereby falling into the error of spatial separateness. He said it twice. And against conceiving of individuals as ignorant or enlightened, and thereby falling into the same error. Only one entirely liberated from concepts can possess a body of infinite extent. All conceptual thinking is called erroneous belief. The upholders of such false doctrines delight in a multiplicity of concepts, but the Bodhisattva remains unmoved amid a whole host of them. Tathagata means the thusness of all phenomenon. Therefore it is written, Maitreya is thus. Saints and sages are thus. Thusness consists not in being subject to becoming or to destruction. Thusness consists of not in being seen, not in being heard. The crown of the Tathagata's head is a concept of perfection, but it is also no perfection to be conceived. So, do not fall into conceiving of perfection objectively. It follows that the Buddhakaya is above all activity. Therefore, you must be aware of discriminating between the myriads of separate forms. The inferior may be likened to mere emptiness. The great void is perfection, wherein is neither lack nor superfluity, a uniform quiescence in which all activity is stilled. Do not argue that there may be other regions lying outside the great void, for such an argument would inevitably lead to discrimination. Therefore it is written, perfection is a deep sea of wisdom. Samsara is like swirling chaos. When we talk of the knowledge I may gain, the learning I may achieve, my intuitive understanding, my deliverance from rebirth, and my mortal way of living, our success makes these concepts seem pleasant to us, but our failures make them appear deplorable. Ain't that the truth? What is the use of all that? I advise you to remain uniformly quiescent and above all activity. Do not deceive yourselves with conceptual thinking, and do not look anywhere for the truth, for all that is needed is to refrain from allowing concepts to arise. It is obvious that mental concepts and external perceptions are equally misleading, and that the way of the Buddhas is as dangerous to you as the way of demons. Thus, when Manjushri temporarily entered into dualism, he found himself dwarfed by two iron mountains, which made egress impossible. Manjushri had true understanding, while Samantabhadra possessed only inferior I don't know this word either. Ephemeral knowledge. Nevertheless, when true understanding and ephemeral knowledge are properly integrated, it will be found that they no longer exist. There is only the one mind which is neither Buddha nor sentient beings, for it contains no such delusion. As soon as you conceive of the Buddha, you are forced to conceive of sentient beings, or of concepts, or no concepts, of vital and trivial ones, which will surely imprison you between those two iron mountains. On account of the obstacles created by dualistic reasoning, Bodhidharma merely pointed to the original mind and substance of us all as being in fact the Buddha. He offered no false means of perfecting himself. He belonged to no school of gradual attainment. His doctrine admits of no such attributes as light and dark. Since it is not light, lo, there is no light. Since it is not dark, lo, there is no dark. Hence it follows that there is no darkness, nor the end of darkness. Whoever enters the gateway of our sect must deal with everything solely by means of the intellect. This sort of perception is known as the Dharma is perceived. We speak of Buddha while perceiving that in fact there are no Dharma and no Buddha. It's called entering the Sangha, who are otherwise known as monks of dwelling above all activity, and the whole sequence may be called the Triratna, or the three rules, bleh, 3 jewels in one substance. Sorry about that. Those who seek the Dharma must not seek from the Buddha, nor from the Dharma, nor from the Sangha. They must seek from nowhere. When the Buddha is not sought, there is no Buddha to be found. When the Dharma is not sought, there is no Dharma to be found. When Sangha is not sought, there is no Sangha. I will end it there. I'm losing my speaking capabilities. Bye bye.